What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today we finally finished our Star of Nostos, and I kind of wanted to show you what it looks like, what it does, how does it work, and also show you some of the spots that I used to gather it. Now, a while ago I made two videos, like a part 1 and 2, of the best gathering spots that I use for like silver and or also more of the rare materials. Those spots work for all the gathering, but what I want to show you today was a little bit different on like what spots I use for each of these 6 different kinds of gathering that I did, and maybe you're trying to push for all the pieces as fast as possible. I'll talk about some of those, but for the most part, I didn't really rush through it. I still went to spots that I normally would to collect materials because, like for example, the mining one, you still need Perfume of Tenacities for endgame grinding. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna craft it. I'm gonna show you how it works, and also I'm gonna show you some spots for that I use for gathering it. So let's press the button. All right, we got it. Let's see. Nice. 30-minute cooldown. That's actually surprisingly low for all of that. All right. Let's go. I want to see how I can set the home. So as far as I know, it sends you back to a residence once it's in your tent. So let me see. So let me place the tent down. All right, so this is where it goes, right? Press the icon to view the list of your residents. Oh, okay, so I have 2 in Heidel that I like to go to, or I could send it to my manor. This one is closer to the storage, and then this one is my main one. Does it send you outside of it? I'm right here. You know what? Actually, let's hold on to it, and I'll test this a little bit later because I want to show you some of the spots. Don't worry, I have a telescope and map and everything, so we should be okay. Okay, so let's talk about this. In my opinion, of all the ones that I did, I thought the ones that took the longest are herb gathering. Butchering surprisingly took a really long time, and so did tanning. And this was with around 3,000 mastery, like with the buff and event stuff. Even without it, I was around over 2950. So either way, these 3 took the longest for me. I can't prove that it doesn't have the same drop rate, but it sure doesn't feel like these don't have the same drop rate, because I got mining pretty quickly, fluid collecting really quickly, and lumbering pretty quickly. So anyway, the spots that I would recommend for beginners, for I guess like more for like tree chopping in particular, is around here, straight outside of Heidel. Obviously, the more advanced spots or the better ones would be down in the bear area because there's obviously more trees. But I think this is a spot for newer players because, one, it's right by the town, and when you're lumbering, your inventory will fill up fast. I guarantee you this. So I usually start over around here, collect all these trees. Now that, you know, logs and everything, saps, meats are worth a lot more now. This is, I think, is a little bit more of a better one just because everything's higher price. But like, follow this path where I'm just showing you with my horse down with the trees, and you know, just go around here. You could pick off the ones in the middle, go around here, and go up here. Get the trees around here. Go all the way down. Pick off these. And I've done this so long, or like so many times, that I actually think by the time you get back doing the rotation, even on foot, the respawn timer will clear. So like you could do this infinitely, so infinite loop. Then you pick off all these trees, go down until you hit the bottom. Once you get around here, you make the loop back. Pick off all these, and then it does help if you have a tier 9, tier 10 horse or something that just is fast in general. So you'll get that. And then once you get back, I would say on average it takes about 335 to 4,000 ish weight. So if you don't have that much, obviously made, or like do like a half route. But once you get back here, that's the whole Heidel rotation, essentially down here, going down here, and then looping back. So that's what I would recommend for beginners, simply because this is just right by the town. If you don't have a lot of maids, your weight is gonna fill up and so on. The next one I would recommend, so whether you're doing log cutting, lumbering, if you're doing tanning and butchering, this spot is a classic. If you're an OG player, you know what this one is. It's Sheep Mountain. The reason why I'd recommend this one for newer players is simply because it's, one, also near town for people who don't, but we'll show you more advanced ones, which are also in the videos that I talked about. I'll leave it in the description. Those are a little bit longer, but those are more advanced if you do cooking and alchemy as well. So this one, the reason why I think this one is a good spot is because there's a lot of enemies, just, or not enemies, but like the stuff you can gather, butcher, tan. All of this is like right here, and then fluid collecting, so it's like a 3-in-1. And there's a lot more of them where they're condensed, so you can just gather faster, and you just go down to loop, like right down here, and then literally they will respawn before you even get all of them done. So yeah, it's just a big loop right around here. So if you don't know, I'll show it to you on the map. It's just Sheep Mountain, Heidel, go up the mountain like halfway, and then there it is. Okay, so now that we covered lumbering, fluid collecting, all of these are kind of like all in one. So if you know, you can get technically all of them minus the lumbering, which is the Heidel, right by town. The one I wanted to show you was for mining and herb gathering. So this one is a decent one. Let me see. Hold on. Do I have enough silver? Okay. So I'm going to show you one spot for herb gathering that's really easy. And the reason why I chose the easy one is, one, if you do herb gathering, you get a lot of the seeds and you have to clean your inventory or just like resell them really quickly. And it's probably better to do it near town. So one thing I would recommend, this isn't even a secret spot. It's more just like, it's right here. You just do a lot of herb gathering, like right down the river. Here, let me just show you. So like anything, you start with this one. Anything you see a wild herb, come down here, get all of these. And then down here, go up, get a few here. Let's go down the route and go up. 2 of them over here. You can get that tree if you wanted to. One more herb over here, another here, there, and then doing this. Chances are by the time you do that full rotation, you know, like naturally gathering it, this one should reset once again. This one is a beginner spot because it's right next to town, and if you have your horse, or even if you don't, you just swim across the river, and you would just be able to sell all the seeds and everything to this NPC right here. You would just sell them, and you can go back. It's right across the river. So easy beginner spot if you're going for that one. 2 spots for mining that I would recommend, or yeah, one for mining is obviously Pilgrim's Haven. This is the OG spot for rough stone, which I actually, how much rough stone do I have nowadays from all that gathering? 113k just from gathering. I didn't buy any. Another one that's very popular, which you might actually find some competition, is down by the Kislev Crag, and you just go up and down this thing. It's very good for XP, but I would say that's more advanced simply because it's out of the way. You do need a little bit more weight in inventory. Well, not inventory, but more weight in general. And then because it's out of the way, you have to go crossing all this and go up and down the little river. And then same with around this area. But yeah, just follow the river up and down. And then that's where the more advanced one is. It's a little bit faster, but you have to have an established character. Otherwise, the one right across the river is the beginner one. Yeah, so herb gathering, a little bit slow, but if you're going for XP, it's really good. And then let me show you one that I chose for mining in particular. So this one I talked about in the other video that I made a while ago for people who are looking to get your life skill crystals in general. These are the best in slot ones. You're going to have to do them eventually. But down in Edonia, it's the coral crabs. If you do hunting, you can get them now as well. But this one isn't the best. It's just if you're an endgame player, you're probably going to need a lot of Rusalka's corals if you're going for the crystals. But if you aren't going for the crystals, you're going to need them for crafting like tenacity or envy elixirs for endgame grinding. So I made myself a bunch more as well. And let me show you what it is. Okay, so down here and then here, I'll show you two different spots that I personally did. They're not the fastest, but it does give you a lot of silver on the way. So like if you're going for the piece, you're going to come back with, you know, at least a couple billion silver along the way. So, yep, there's that. But I'll show it to you. Otherwise, if you're a beginner player, just go to like Pilgrim's Haven, and that one is, you know, there's no like special items there, but it's pretty quick to do. Or the Kislev area, because that one is, you know, pretty solid as well. All right. Then maybe once you do that, I'll see how this Star of Nostos works, and we'll teleport back to a town. I hope I didn't have to set the town first, because that would have been like, you don't have to set the respawn point, you just go to one, but we'll test it. And I'm actually surprised it's a 30-minute cooldown. I think it should be like at least a 4-hour cooldown, but you know, I'm not complaining that it's 30 minutes. Okay, so spot number 1 is on the beach right here. There's one over there you can go up, but the one I like to do was around here. And your goal is to be hitting, you know, all these rocks as well, but you're mostly going for the stoneback crabs. The reason why you're doing that one is, one, you want the mini game. I'm surprised I actually got that. I hate this mini game so much. It's unbelievably annoying. Okay, so yeah, you see that? Rusalka's corals. Endgame players will need this because they're crafting the perfumes. You also get a bunch of rough stones, so it's like, I just made 20 mil. Then you do that multiply that by like an hour or two, and you come back with a couple billion. So anyway, you get you see these things right here. You're going to go for the crabs, but you see these rocks on the beach as well. Some of them are targetable, and you just mine them, and you get the lucky proc as well. And then you just go around here. You see how the crabs are there. And then you can also pick up these. It's kind of a big oval or a big circle. You do this rotation over here. Come back down over here. And do that. And so we're back at the start again. That's a very easy loop. Here's another one in case the spot you want like is taken. This one is a little bit like, it's a straight line, but you do need a horse. So let me just show you. You would start around here. You get these 3 crabs. You just go down the line. Get some over here. Take those off. Get the rocks on the ground over here. So this spot is more for money than the rocks, like the treasure item rocks itself. But, you know, I value the silver a lot more and being able to craft the elixirs that you can't even buy off the market very easily. So once you get all these, you get your horse back and you go back to the front where we started down there, and then they should reset. Yeah, other than that, like your usual spots down in Bear, very good for basically everything, for most things anyway. Mining is a little bit different down Pilgrims, or the spots I showed you if you're looking for money and silver as well. Tanning, I would say, is probably the most annoying one, next to, honestly, next to herb gathering. Herb gathering is good for XP, but all of these, like tanning was probably the longest one in my opinion. Sheep Mountain is good for beginners. Down in Madaya, there's rhinos that are really good. And also down in Navern Steppe right here, you know, there's Faricas and Farinas, the blue birds and the yellow ones that are around here. That's a very good, easy cycle just down here as well. It's very hard to miss it. Go from Old Wisdom Tree, go down into the little path right here. You'll find the birds, hit the blue one, they'll all swarm you. And yeah, so those are easy to beginner stuff. Now let's show you how the Star of Nostos works in general. Can only place on the ground. I love this tent. All right, so let's see. Can I just pick which one I want to go to? Like if I want to go to my manor or anything. What if I wanted to go? Oh, okay, so you just pick one. Does it send you into the house or outside of it? Let's find out. Oh, it sends you inside. Yeah, so this is the one I use for... Wait a second. Oh, if you leave, you get sent back. Okay, so reason is... You know how people have furniture buffs? I think that's literally it, and it has a cooldown. Yeah, that's cool, though. Once you leave, you go back to your spot. So... Never will I forget a furniture buff again at my spot. That's literally the only reason to get this. Forgot your furniture buff? Go get it. I truly hope these things go down in price now, because I've talked about this over the years, how like the value of furnishings. Let me show you. These things. 15 AP for 3 hours, 10 charges, essentially 30 hours of usage total if you grind more than 1 hour at a time, for 300 mil. These are 60 mil each. If you were to buy 30 of them, you're literally paying 6 times the amount. So like literally into 1.8 billion versus 300. That's what the Star of Nostos saves you. All right, anyway, that was cool. We got to see how it works and get me off. Other treasure items, probably a lot more worth. That's all. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions on is the spot worth it or not, you feel free to ask. But I will leave 2 videos in the description. 2 of the videos are talking about my favorite gathering spots for everything. Those are a little bit more for not necessarily the treasure item, you'll get them over time, but if you're looking for silver or you do a lot of cooking and alchemy, the more specialized ingredients as well, that should help you. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.